Hey guys, I'm Callum, also known as Northern Dice, and today I'm going to be giving you an info boxing on Space Base, an engine building game for 2 to 5 players. This is Space Base fully set up as it would be from a player's perspective. It's a lot more squash than it normally would be, but that's just so I can fit everything on at once. What we've got is the player board at the bottom, which is your own area. No one else will have contact with this. Your 12 starting ships and your 3 cubes, which show your income, credit, and victory points in total. This bit here is the shared area that every player would have access to. This is the shipyard, which comes in 3 tiers: tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. The higher the tier, the more valuable the card, but also the more expensive it is. And here we have the colony cards, which are less powerful and tangible than the ship cards, but more likely to get you the win. So every player starts with the exact same setup. All the cards are going to be the exact same for all players. They come in different tierings throughout the ships, and they go in specific slots. So this is ship number 1, it would go in slot 1, ship 2, ship 3, etc, etc. And the higher the dice roll, the more powerful the card is. So in the example here, if you were to roll a 1, you would get 1 gold coin. But if you were to roll a 12, you would actually increase your income, which is a different currency. The different currencies in the game are what help players to build up money and get reputation. So the yellow one, which is your credit score, which is the amount of credits you have, is used to purchase different ships from the shipyard or colonies from here. On each and every single ship and every single colony, it has different values on them. But the one that you want for credits is this one in the top left, which tells you how much it costs. The only problem here is that if you have managed to rack up 40 credits and you want to buy something that's worth 8, no change is given. You will not get any money back. It is a clear-cut case of you spend 40 for an 8 ship. So spending at the right time is really important in this game. The green track, which is your income cube, tracks your minimum amount of money. So as example here, if my income is at 15, anytime I buy something, the credit cube can only go back to 15. It gives you that sort of safety net of money, but also guarantees that you'll be able to buy something every turn should you so wish. And of course, the reputation track, the victory points, are what are going to get you the win, and it is the first to 40. There can be a tie for that if someone is able to, on their very last turn, gain 40, and all subsequent players get 40, and then the scoring breaks down further into different areas such as income and then into credits, just to determine who is the final winner. The cards themselves in Space Base all have multiple functions. You'll notice that on some of these cards, bits are upside down, and there's a purpose for that. This game is an engine builder. You are buying things to get things. It's put in essence, you roll the dice, you get stuff. That's the sort of game it is. And to start off with, you have got a value to everything. So whether you roll 2 dice or just 1, you get a 6. You will earn on your turn 6 coins. And the reason it's on your turn is because it's on the blue and it's facing you. You can read that in front of you. You can't read the numbers on the bottom because they're what happen on other people's turns. So the way that works is, let's say on my first turn, I am able to purchase a ship, and I choose to purchase this tier 1 card, which will go in the 10 slot and cost me 3 coins. And this immediately replaces my previous ship, and it earns me 4 credits and 1 increase to income every time I roll a 10, which is fantastic. 10's a very tricky number to roll compared to some others, but worth it. My previous 10 card isn't covered. What happens instead there is this card is flipped and tucked under my board. So I can see that number, and this one goes here. And now I've just improved my entire fleet and given myself a little bit more to do, because I can now activate that 10 on someone else's roll. So let's say I am lucky enough for the next player to roll a 10. I can then activate that. Any reds are activated on other people's turns. Blues are activated on your turns. Tricky bit there is that it needs to be on the top. You need to have replaced the cards. And card stack. If I were to acquire another 10, I don't believe this, there is one there. Let's say I acquired that and that was under there, that would also activate on the roll of a 10. Now the rolling dice in this game is also quite unique compared to other engine builders, because you always have 2 dice and you can always roll 2 dice. Let's roll them, and I get 2 4s. Let's actually re-roll that, just so I can give you an example of something. So I've got a 5 and a 1. Unique custom dice, very lovely. I can use that as the 6 it is, and I can claim cash on the 6, but I don't actually have anything there. There's nothing to claim on someone else's turn. So instead I can split the dice, and I can say I'm going to claim for a 1 and for a 5. So if there was a 1 there, I could claim on that, and I can claim on that. It means that if you are then cashing in on really low ones, and people are rolling 2 dice, you're not going to get caught out. If anything, you'll probably be able to actually cash in twice. The other thing to note about Space Base is that nothing is asymmetrical to start. Everyone gets the exact same setup. You all get the exact same board, the exact same cards. I'm pretty sure the art doesn't differ too much. You are all in the same position to kick off. It's when you start purchasing, when it gets to your turn and you have earned a bit of credit and you cash in, that everything starts to change. And these ships do change the way the game plays, quite significantly sometimes. You've got your normal ships, which will give you different things, which is, you know, really, really lovely. So, just as an example on these 3 ships, on my turn, I've got one that could earn me 4 credits, I've got one that could earn me 3 reputation, I've got one that could increase my total income, which is great. And those are things that are instant acquisitions. They change my status at the moment and possibly drive me towards winning or put me in a better position. But there's more than just that in these cards. There are some cards that actually are activated using power-ups and cubes. An example of this card. You see these boxes? These are used to charge the ship. And what will happen is, put this down on the 6th spot. I'm just going to remove that one. And anytime someone rolls a 6, I can put on one of these cubes. There you go. Someone's rolled a 6, I put that on. And that says, underneath, an attached ability. Re-roll 1 or both of your dice and gain a coin. Now when that's done, I lose that cube and the cube is taken off. But I can charge that several times. The thing is though, it only charges on my turn because it's blue. Anytime it's a blue symbol, it is charged on your turn. Anytime it is a red box symbol, it is charged on someone else's turn. But it's the same ability, but without the coin game. So it's more powerful because you can activate it more frequently, but not as handy in terms of gaining money. Now, you'll notice as well that the ability is in blue, and that's because as much as you charge on other people's turns, the ability is activated. General rule of thumb for this game: if it's in red, it's on someone else's turn. If it's in blue, it's on your turn. Now those of you with eagle eyes will have noticed this card, and that is because it is green. Any green abilities are activated whenever, which is really important. You charge it on your turn, you can activate it whenever. And that symbol literally means you can move the dice roll 1 to the right. So let's say they roll 9. You can activate this ability, remove the charge cube to change it into a 10. You wouldn't get the 9 cash in, but you would get the 10. In the same way, you can do that on someone else's turn. But you'll notice that little chain symbol means you need 2 charges to do that. And these cards are tiered in terms of power. The first tier are, generally speaking, the ships that are going to give you a little bit of a boost. Might be quite tricky to roll. Tier 2 are going to get a little bit more complicated, and you'll notice there's a lot of reputation points available in this set that I picked out here. And Tier 3 are the ones where you get a lot more spice. You've got 3 charges there, and it is, much as it is just a reroll, I think that's in the wrong, yep, that's in the Tier 2, sorry. I wondered why that was there. You've got this one here, which is a pretty crazy ability actually. So, if you roll a 10, you can claim 2 level 2 cards straight off the bat. That is an instant effect on your turn. Just claim them. Not purchase, claim. Or as the alternative ability on other people's turns, you have to charge it, but you can claim 1 level 3 card on your turn, which is insane, especially as things start to rack up, because that could be every single turn gaining an extra card and purchasing a card. As for the cards themselves, if you have a look at the artwork and the actual names of the ships, each one is unique. You sometimes get a similar or identical ship with a different coloration, but then you get different names on them, which I think is a really nice quirk, and the abilities are often quite similar but with different numbers on. Here's an example here as well. Again, that one goes in 4, 5, all 14 coins, but it could be a position where you get yourself stacked on the same looking ships. But also, if you look at the background of this number 5, you get the space and everything, it looks very decorative, but it actually has a lot of purpose, because if I then put that next to the other number 5, the background is identical. And if I were to get the number 11, you'll notice it's completely different. It's because it shows you, in another way, the actual positioning of these ships. And you will notice by the pattern being incorrect or not matching the background that it goes in the right spot. The final cards to mention are these ones, which are called colony cards. Now these work differently to the actual cards for ships that you can purchase in the tiers 1, 2, 3. And the reason for that is you might have noticed there's no blue or red on this, it's only gold. And these only give you victory points. The reason for that is that these are your sort of end game goal cards. These are what you want to purchase to really rake in the points. You'll notice also that they go from 3 all the way to 14, and they cost a lot, with the first one being 9 and the last one being 42. And on a scale of 0 to 40, you're going to be looking for bonuses to try and purchase that one. Now, these, when they are purchased, work the exact same way to start off with as the other cards. If you have a look at this one, it goes in slot 1, costs 9, and gives you 3 victory points. So you purchase it and replace. Place that one underneath, as you would expect as normal. Now the issue here is, that is now irreplaceable. That is a colony you have set up in the 1 spot. Very powerful, but if you do it too early, it means that you will not be able to cash in on other people's 1 rolls. Sort of a catch-22. The card quality, I think, is fantastic. I do feel like it is a game that you would need a mat to play on, because I play on a laminate table, and as much as I can pick that card up, I sometimes struggle to pick them up, quite fiddly. But really good quality, very sturdy. It's not going to be the end of the world if you bend it to pick it up. It will be quite robust and have a lot of use, a lot of wear with it. The cubes, standard plastic cubes, nothing special about them too much. I like the fact that the 3 are different colours and they are very easy to identify against each other. One thing I will say is that when you are playing, do not get overzealous with your hand movements down here, because it only takes 1 swift knock and you have lost the track of everything. And you can guarantee your opposition aren't going to be the ones saying, yes, it's fine, put your rep back up to 20. They'll be the ones saying, I'm pretty sure you're on 18. And the actual player board that you've got as well is really nice, because as much as it is really long, it folds up really neatly and fits in that box beautifully. And it's got a really, really nice robust feel, almost overly robust. It's not going to break at all. There's no chance of you ever doing any damage to this board with the game that you play, but it just feels incredibly sturdy. Fantastic quality, I'd say. And the dice, they are just translucent dice, but I do like the fact that they have got the glitter in the middle of them to try and make it look like space, and the number 1 is a rocket, which I think is really quirky. Right, I've rambled on long enough. I think I've been quite thorough with Space's info boxing. Hopefully I've answered any questions you've got. I recommend this over Machikoro. I know quite a few people still like the simplicity and ease of access Machikoro provides over the complexity here. Thank you ever so much for sticking around, and I will catch you again next time.